So I don't know if y'all been noticing it, but I've been noticing that the cost of living has been really getting out of control. And it's to the point where millions of Americans are really trying to figure things out. I got a few clips. Check them out and I'll come back with my commentary.
Budget my low income biweekly paycheck with me. I work part-time and I also get paid bi-weekly. My income was $903. Tax hit for $200, but by the time I started budgeting, I only had $170, bringing my total to $1,073. But my expenses were $1,383, leaving me at a deficit of $310. My bills were $785, essentials was $190, savings was $50, debt was $328, and lifestyle was $100. I ended up cutting everything down, so my bills came out to $640. I was able to reschedule my car insurance until next pay period. Essentials I cut down to $127. Savings, I took back the money. Debt was $328, and lifestyle I cut down to $30. A lot of people say that I should allocate the money I use for my lifestyle towards something else, but lifestyle also includes things like hygiene and basic needs that I need as a female. So that brings my new total to $1,125, leaving me $52 short, which I just took out of my savings.
Spend my paycheck with me as a newly full-time working mom. So my total check was $1,481.62. But I did some pet sitting and I made $60 from that. Plus, I ended my 2-week paycheck with 67 cents. That leaves me with $1,542.29. Now, let's talk about my bills. I have to pay $331 to my phone bill, $105 for my utilities. My savings, I am putting a little bit of each paycheck into my kids' savings account. So I'm putting $75 into savings. Subscriptions are going to cost me $88. The orthodontist is $123.27. And then as far as the Big Kahuna, I am paying $775.39 to credit. Now, that is going to be a total of $1,497.79, leaving me with $43.83 for the next 2 weeks. If you made this far, leave me a money emoji and I'll see you in 2 weeks.
What's going on, y'all? So, budget my paycheck with me as a low income. Yeah, so let's get started. So, my salary, I guess, my check was, gross pay was $11.53 and some change. Taxes came out, that was like $87. So, my net pay was $980 and change. I had to pay half my car note from last month because I was late. That's $275. I have to pay a driver's license fee. That's $120. I gotta get food. That's $150 for the next 2 weeks. I gotta get gas. That's $75. And also, I gotta pay for my school thing fee. That's every 2 weeks. That's $165. And I also have to pay $100 goes towards some miscellaneous items like toilet paper and stuff. That leaves me with $114 until next pay period. Yay. I forgot to mention that. So it's not, I mean, it is a paycheck, but it's really more set on of a living allowance, and I also don't pay rent. So yeah, living allowance, and I don't pay rent.
So it's payday, and I'm going to break down my paycheck as someone who makes around $45K a year. I am low income. I'm a single mom. I have 2 kids. This is how much I made. This isn't my normal paycheck. It's a lot lower than I normally make. I did miss several days of work because I had the flu. My kids had the flu, but it's still the paycheck I got. So we're going to budget it. I paid $650 towards my rent. Thankfully, I got my taxes though, so I did pay my rent up, but I'm still trying to keep on top of it, so I'm still going to pay it like normal. So this is for next month's rent. That left me with $576, and then I paid my phone bill, or half of it. I pay $280 a month for my phone bill, so I paid $140, and then the $280 is for me, my sister, and my other sister's phone, and then for internet. Left me with $436, and then I pay my power. Leaves me with $386, and then I'm going to pay for daycare. Daycare is $100. That leaves me with $286 for groceries and literally whatever else I need to buy. I don't drive, so I don't have a car payment or pay for gas or insurance or anything like that because I'm legally blind. I do take the bus and transportation, but I have a bus card for the year, so I don't have to pay for that. And then the other question people ask me is about insurance. My kids get free insurance, but I did just lose my insurance, so now I have to go and get new medical and dental insurance. So that will be a different price. I don't know what that's going to be yet.
We're back again with another low-income payday routine. I'm Tiffany, I'm a single mom, and I make $22.81 an hour. I like to be transparent with my pay to show others who may be in a similar situation that just because you are on a lower income doesn't mean that you can't save. Now, I am paid bi-weekly. I live in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, low-income apartment. My rent is $1,307 a month. My paycheck this pay period was more than it usually is, and that's because I had 10 hours of overtime, which typically does not happen. I do a paycheck budget, which means that I only pay the bills that are due during this pay period. And if you're interested in these budget worksheets, there's a link at the top of my page, and they are currently on sale. My total paycheck was $1,750. I have 2 separate checking accounts. One that's going to have $1,125. That's going to be for my cash envelopes and my bills, such as utilities and things like that. My other account automatically has $625 deposited into it, and that is my account used strictly for my rent. I split my rent between each paycheck. It's just easier for me to do it that way. And my bills for the next 2 weeks equal $262.53. You'll see them here on the screen. If I subtract the $262.53 from the $1,125, I'm left with $862.47. That's going to go towards my cash envelopes, which is going to include gas and groceries. If you want to see that breakdown, stay tuned. Love y'all, bye.
It's finally payday. Let's go ahead and budget out my low income realistic paycheck together. So this paycheck was a total of $10.90 into the bill. So we have my portion of the house payment, which is $500 for this check. $60 I will be throwing onto my credit card. I have Snap Finance, which is $70. If you didn't watch my last video, that is just financing for my vehicle. I had to get a few things fixed on there. Mainly, I had to get my AC fixed because I'm not riding around with no AC. I just can't do it. For food, I only set aside $60, which is not even realistic. It's gonna get put onto my credit card anyways because I've been using my credit card for food and gas. For gas, I set aside $150. My car used to fill up on $35. Now it's filling up on $60, close to $60, which is insane. It's ridiculous, you guys. Allowance is $80. Insurance is $100, bringing my grand total to $10.75, which leaves us with $15 left. So thankfully not in the negatives, but it still sucks not having anything after your paycheck. But I know a lot of you can relate. It's rough out here. Also, if you watch my other paycheck videos, do you prefer this style where I'm kind of talking to the camera, or do you prefer voiceover where I'm showing you my point of view of writing everything out? Let me know in the comments.
Budget my low income paycheck with me, with a girl in her 20s trying to find financial freedom. This apartment. So my check was $525.28. I get paid bi-weekly, but this paycheck is only 1 week worth of pay. So my car payment is $328. My Navy Federal credit card is $20. My Self credit card is $26. My Budget Bestie digital planner app is $10. That adds up to $384, leaving me with $141 remaining. My food budget gets $80. My check-ins, miscellaneous check-ins, gets $20. That adds up to $100, which adds up to $484, leaving me with $41 remaining. My car maintenance gets $21. My retirement gets $15. And my high yield savings account gets $5, which I am starting a 10K challenge box in my high yield savings account. So we're going to start that out for $5. That is it for my budget breakdown.
It's payday, so let's move this money before it burns a hole in my pocket. There's nothing like having a clean house and a balanced budget, so let's get into it. My husband and I both got paid, so $4,771 was deposited into our account after taxes and all that other stuff. And here's how we are spending it or have already spent it. For savings, $300 automatically went to our Ally High Yield Savings account to fund some of our sinking funds. For bills, we are spending $947, and that's including an extra payment for daycare for next week. We've paid things like Netflix, Disney, our cell phone bill, and our light bill. Now for our regular expenses, I'm not gonna lie, we are spending a lot. $2,207 is what we're budgeting for our expenses. To be fair, we have a lot going on this month, especially with back to school, my daughter starting dance, and we did go to bar and buy a round or 3 of shots. Don't judge me, judge your mama, because mama gotta have a life too, Jody. But seriously, we knew our expenses were gonna be a little higher this month, and that's okay. We haven't gone too far over budget, but oh, it's still a lot with back to school. I got my hair done, football, my daughter starting dance, and unexpectedly our pipes got clogged, so we had that expense. Yay, being homeowners is fun, so that's why our expenses are so high. So altogether, we are spending $3,269 for savings, bills, and expenses, and the remaining $1,500 will stay in our account until next week when my husband gets paid. The beauty of having a payday routine is sitting down with your money to see where it went, where it needs to go, maybe where you went overboard. I know that we went overboard with going out, and that's okay. That means for the rest of this month, we need to chill out. All right, this is our payday for this week. I will see you next week.
Today was payday from my corporate America full-time job and my part-time job at Target, so it's time to do a little payday budgeting routine. This money does have to last me the next 2 weeks. A little about me, I'm 44 years old. I'm a single empty nester, and the only kid that lives at home is that little girl right there. Say hi! After taxes, a 6% contribution to my 401k, $312.50 that goes directly into my Roth IRA. I brought home $1,858.46 to budget with. I bought a phone several months ago, and I am financing it interest-free through Affirm. I'm paying $44.84 a month for that. Car insurance is $84.24. My electric bill is $75.47. My grocery budget is a little bit different because I needed to add some money in for toilet paper that I need to buy, but then I need to take some money out because I spent money for some essentials earlier this week. So I am budgeting for the next 2 weeks $147.53. I think that's about $73 or so a week. Gas, I am budgeting $70, so that is $35 each week. CapCut membership, I edit all my YouTube videos on there. It is $9.99. My dog Scout, I took her to get a nail trim yesterday, and that is $12. Apple storage is $2.99. I am taking half my rent from this paycheck, half from next paycheck, and then paying my rent. So I'm budgeting $840 for this paycheck for rent. I did need to buy a couple of beauty things that I'm out of, some skincare stuff, so $40 for that. And then I am celebrating a little bit this month because half of my student loans did get canceled. I'm waiting on the other half. So I'm budgeting $50 for eating out. And actually, I just want to be able to eat out every single month. So I'm going to try to budget for eating out every single month starting this month. There is a subtotal of all my expenses of $1,377.06. That means I will have a net to bring home or to put into my high yield savings account of $481.40. And I brought home from Target after taxes, after my 10% contribution to my 401k over there, of $596.12. So that means I can put $1,077.52 between both of my paychecks right into my high yield savings account.
Let's budget my paycheck together. I'm 30 years old. I'm married. Me and my husband just bought our first house. I work full-time in healthcare, and I also do content creation. This is just going to be my paycheck from my full-time job, my first paycheck of the month. I got paid on June 5th, and my take-home pay was $2,333.57. That's after taxes get taken out, insurance, and I do contribute to a 401k. And then I did have $97.27 carry over from my last paycheck that just was in my checking account. So my total to budget with was $2,430.84. First, obviously, any fixed expenses need to be budgeted for. So I'm putting $800 into our bills account. I also direct deposit $200 into our joint checking account, and that is for groceries and any other household items. I did put $300 into our joint high-yield savings account, and that is just our like emergency fund, house project fund, savings fund in our high-yield savings account. Then I did also put $100 into my Roth IRA. Then I need to budget $40.97 for subscriptions that are coming out in the next 2 weeks. There's Apple, Netflix, and CapCut. I'm also going to budget $45 for 1 tank of gas and $100 for my nails. Then I'm going to put $200 extra towards our mortgage. And I did put $295 towards my credit card to pay that off because I did end up booking some flights for a trip because I feel like we need one and we deserve it. And that's everything that I had to budget for. So total all of that up, it comes to $2,080.97. And that leaves me with just about $350 for the next 2 weeks. So yeah, that is the budget for my first paycheck of the month.
I just got paid, so let's budget my $549 paycheck. I work part-time as a library assistant in a public library. I get paid $17.57 an hour, and this is for 17 hours of work a week, so that's 34 hours per paycheck. I have all my numbers written on a scrap piece of paper, so let's go over everything. That brought my checking account balance up to $1,258. Need to then subtract everything that I've spent on my credit cards. So I spent $127 on my MasterCard, $8 on my Discover card, $450 on my Amex card, and $108 on my Chase card. I do all of my everyday spending on credit cards. I don't use my debit card to buy literally anything. So that's all of like my normal spending and bills. And then that left me with $565 to work with. I like to leave a bit of a buffer in my checking account in case bills come out. Some of my bills cannot be put on credit cards, so some of them do come out of my checking account. So I like to leave a little bit of money in there so I don't overdraft. So I'm only going to put $200 towards my student loans this paycheck, and I will make that payment with you in another video. I'm getting paid from TikTok very soon, so I will be doing another budget video as soon as that hits my checking account, so we'll be able to put a lot more towards my student loans. I had a goal of putting $1,000 towards my student loans this month, and I think I'll be able to hit it. So I'm doing $200 from this paycheck, and then hopefully I can do $800 the rest of the month. So I will see you back in my next paycheck budget video.
I can't believe I'm almost done, bro. I'm about to cry. Budget my paycheck with me as a broke 19-year-old. I'm getting paid $1,081. Guys, this is the last paycheck I'm going to be broke. I'm so excited, and I'm actually about to be able to go to part-time because I'm finally done with my YSU payment. I can't believe I'm almost done, bro. I'm about to cry. I'm so fucking happy. For my YSU payment, I'm paying $320. This is the last payment I have to make. I'm over here getting emotional and shit because I've been working my ass off to pay this off so I can go back to school. And I'm so fucking happy it's done. Anyways, for Spotify, I'm paying $7.50. First Financial, I'm paying $25. This is going to be the next payment that I start, doing a lot of. Health and meds, I'm setting aside $100. For groceries, I'm setting aside $100. I don't think I'll even spend all of this, honestly. So I'm just trying to use up all of my food that I have left over. That way I can spend a little bit more money this check. For laundry, I'm setting aside $30. Savings is getting $50. Student loans is getting $55. Therapy, I have a bill on it, so that's going to be $75. Now for all the stuff I want to pay. This is just like anything that I want to buy that isn't really a necessity. Fun money, I'm setting aside $200. I have so many plans this paycheck, and it's actually ridiculous how much shit I'm about to be doing. It's crazy. Clothes is getting $30, and my side hustles are getting $50. I want to get back into side hustling really bad, so I'm about to. That's all money for mystery shopping. You do have to buy something, but then you get reimbursed. So the $50 is just to help get me started in that. I'm left with $24 after all of that. I'm low-key just going to keep this in my bank account. It'll probably get spent somehow. I don't know what, but something will probably be taken out of my account.
It's been a hot minute, so let's budget my husband's very first paycheck with his new job. As a family who just took a huge pay cut in order to have my husband home. So for starters, just a little preface, he does get paid bi-weekly now. So this is his first check. It was for 2 weeks. We weren't sure if it was going to be for 1 or 2. So we are looking at a budget video every other Friday moving forward. That said, we needed to prioritize some things, and some things are just going to get put on the back burner. So for starters, with his check, one of my lights just went out. The sewer bill is getting paid, which was $70. We're gonna put $60 to the side for gas and hope that that covers both vehicles for 2 weeks. Not really sure. Groceries, this is gonna get tricky. I'm not grocery shopping today. It will be tomorrow, I think. But groceries, we're gonna try to stretch $40 for 2 weeks. We are going to try to be really savvy with using what we have at home. We'll see. Our credit lines, we have those set to take out $5 every single week, and we each have one, so $20 over the next 2 weeks. The Care Credit card is due, that's $40. Our UGI was supposed to be paid last week, but unfortunately, since we were without pay, we needed to make some things work. My car needed gas, and there were just some other things that came up, so we are paying that, which is $166. We are stuffing $600 away for our mortgage payment, and that will leave us about $150 for a cushion over the next 2 weeks until either I or my husband get paid, because I don't know when I'm gonna get paid. I am weekly, but I don't know if I get paid for training or not. So that will be for like, if we do by chance need food, if we run out of gas, if something, God forbid, comes up. So yeah. We are applying for food stamps. You can come at me now, but we're taking what we can get at this point because mentally we've been great having my husband home. So there's the budget for the week, and see ya in another 2.
I feel like I've really mastered the art of budgeting my low teacher salary, and here's another day of it. Because today I am budgeting my $2,166 teacher salary in New York City. For context, I live alone in New York City. I'm also paying off over $13,000 of credit card debt, and I'm saving at least $10,000 so I can bring my mom on an African safari when she retires. So if you're trying to save money or pay off debt, then follow along. The first thing I always do whenever I get paid is I move over half of my month's rent. So that's exactly what I did. I moved over $850. This allows me to just remove that big fixed expense, and then I don't really have to think about it the rest of the month. I then moved $35 over because my Wi-Fi bill will be getting taken out this month, so I just don't want to worry about that. And I also transferred over $100 to my separate savings account because I owe taxes back this year. I think I owe $350. So I'm just trying to kind of move that money aside, so when I do pay it back, I have it. I then put $200 towards my mom's African safari. For the transfer, my balance was $3,473. It is now $3,673. Plus my $1,245 that I have in Acorns, I have a total of $4,918 saved for my mom's African safari. I'm going to start really prioritizing that account because I feel like I was doing really good with saving for that when I first started saving for it in September. And then I feel like I started decreasing the amount of payments. And if I want to meet my minimum goal of $10,000 by December, I think I need to really start like prioritizing it. I then put $80 towards my credit card. Balance before was $4,400. It is now $4,320. I would love to get this paid off sooner, and I know people are probably going to tell me that I should pay that off first, but I really am prioritizing my mom's safari at this point. I then put $70 into my Guatemala sinking fund because I'm going to Guatemala this summer and I am saving up money for it. Before the $70, my balance was $450. It is now $520. I also put $70 towards my powerlifting sinking fund because I'm doing a powerlifting competition in May, and each month I pay my coach $150, so I save up money for that. For the transfer, my balance was $260. It is now $330. And that's really it. I have about like $800 left over until the next time I get paid, but it's going to decrease a lot because every week I have automatic transfers coming out of my checking to go into my high yield savings account, which I didn't put anything in this round, plus my mom's African Safari account.
Okay, so there you have it. So as you saw in those few clips, people was giving a breakdown on the cost of living. And as you know, with the cost of like food going up, gas going up, electricity bills just going through the roof, it's just really discouraging, and people are really trying to figure it out. Leave a comment down below. What have you been experiencing as of late? And I know these are just like times where you just kind of really trying to figure it out, and you kind of thinking back to like what your parents told you, and what people have always said, you know, save and just kind of just be mindful of your spending. But how do you do that when your pay is not going up? All right, y'all, I really appreciate y'all hearing what I gotta say, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.